Welcome back to the channel. As we count down the final hours before Scream 7 comes out, I wanted to go over my biggest questions heading into Scream 7. Kind of, things that they've left open for us, maybe questions they had from the trailer. I'm Alex from Sandro Says. Please leave a like on the video, and let's get into it. Ever since they reintroduced Stu's house in Scream 5, I have been wondering, why has this place not been demolished? And we can see in the trailer to Scream 7, it's at least going to be the setting for part of the movie, and it looks possible that Ghostface burns the place down. So that seems fitting, but it always kind of seemed weird to me that a site of murders, like a lot of murders the first night, it wasn't just like one murder. It was a lot of murders that first night, and then a lot more murders in 2025, a lot more murders in Scream 5. It's like, at that point, they should have been demolished, razed, turned into, farmland, something. So it's nice to see that's finally happening, because that's kind of been something I've been waiting for to happen for a while now. Also, is Stu really coming back? A lot of the press and, advertisements ahead of time have been teasing that this is Matthew Lillard's return to the franchise. Is Stu really coming back, or is this some kind of misdirection? Is he just going to be a ghost, kind of like Billy Loomis in the last two movies? What's going to be the story with Stu? I think a lot of us want to know. Is it Stu at all? That's, is it really Stu, or is it is someone else? There's been shots of a insane asylum or, loony bin or whatever you want to call it. And it has, from the trailer, and it has a picture of, it's basically a production still, but it's a picture of Sydney and all her friends when they were teenagers. And it's like, was that Stu's room, or is there someone else obsessed with Sydney? Now, my friend Matt, producer Matt, he seems to think that it might be Jill from Scream 4, which would be wild and totally unseen. Nobody would expect that, I don't think. But I don't know. Either they're telling us right in the trailers that Matthew Lillard is in an insane asylum, or it's a huge misdirection. So we're going to find out tonight. But that's another big question I have. Next thing I've been wondering, Sydney's kids. Now, in Scream 5, when they show Sydney running with she's got a stroller, and so the kid, stroller age is 3 at most, maybe 4. That's, 2022, and that's one child we can see in the stroller, we assume. We never actually see the kid from the front. That kid is now in 4 years in high school, 16 or 17 years old. But it will be interesting to see what the story is with Sydney's family. Again, it's a horror movie. This stuff doesn't really matter that much, but it is interesting to think about. Tied into that, though, is the Mark situation. A, are they going to reference that Mark Kincaid was in a relationship with her at all, and that there's another guy named Mark? B, is Mark Evans going to survive the movie? Again, in the trailer, we see him basically get attacked and seemingly stabbed right in the chest or somewhere, and basically, attacked by Ghostface in a position that most people would not survive. So is he going to be killed? And the trailer showed us that? Or is this a misdirection and he's basically incapacitated for the movie? You can notice in the rest of the trailer that that he's only in a couple scenes from, so that's clever editing or telling us what the story is. It would make sense to get rid of Sydney's biggest protective shield, her husband being a cop. That seems like he would be first to go to make this movie as tense as possible. So we'll see what happens there. Bummer, because I like Joel McHale, but we'll see what happens. What recent horror movies will inspire this movie or influence it or be skewered by Scream? Scream historically has taken horror of the time and either had commentary on it, lampooned it, whatever. So, they just had a couple movies recently, and I can't say horror has had that much of a different shift in tone or something in the last 2 years. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if that's going to have a play into it at all, or if the big storyline from why things are happening is AI. Is that going to be where the return of some of these characters is? I've heard that AI is involved in this movie. I don't know if it's to help recreate scenes or if it's meant to be part of the storyline. I'm very apprehensive about all of that, but we'll see what happens. And the last question I really have, actually 2 questions. Are there any other surprise returns? I kind of mentioned Jill already. Is Dewey coming back? Did he somehow survive? Who could be coming back that we haven't seen in the trailers already? And who's leaving us? We know that besides Sydney, Gail and the 2 Meeks twins are coming back. So Chad and Mindy, they're back in the movie, are all three of them going to survive? I don't know. Being that Chad and Mindy's connection is to Tara and Sam, and they're kind of out of the franchise now, or are Tara and or Sam going to make a surprise appearance? And all that press about someone not being in the movie was just subterfuge. I don't know at this point. They have us guessing, because that's the great thing about horror and the great thing about movies in general. So what do you think about the movie coming out tonight? What are your biggest questions heading into it? What are your theories? And what gets you excited about it? I will be live tonight around 11 p.m. Mountain, 10:45 Mountain, which is 12:45, 1 a.m. Eastern. I know that's late, but that's what time most people should be getting home from their screenings of the movie. And if you want to talk about it, I'll be live on YouTube. Come check out my channel, and we'll talk about it. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and enjoy the movie. Take care.